Okay, all right. Do this left-handed, I think. All right,
Oh, what happened?
I have tendonitis in my thumb because I overexerted pulling blackberry bushes last Saturday.
Ooh.
So it's one of those, I should either like not do it at all or do it more often and do it in smaller chunks.
Ryan's gone, I apologize, Ryan's gone, and I didn't.
Oh, that's okay.
My knee.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, oh, you're our note taker too, aren't you?
Yes, Courtney's been
Yes,
out
we
ill
will
too.
wait.
I don't need it. But you can put it.
You want me?
No, I don't.
We all blame it on Harris because he was sick last week, and I got it, and Courtney got it.
Well, this is the first week that I felt like a human being again, so all of you just stay away.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't
Doesn't sound good.
What happens if you take COVID shots? You get that stuff all the time.
But Greg says he's feeling better.
Yes.
I am probably the only teacher I had one.
Really?
And I didn't know that I hadn't.
I do, I just don't answer my phone. No, actually, yesterday afternoon, I was so exhausted, I took a nap, so.
Oh, thank you very much.
You ready?
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Delaware County Office of Education Board of Trustees. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is the educational minutes.
Oh.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any changes or modifications to the agenda?
Yeah.
For information, we have the initial Credo Sunshine proposal, which is the Castle Rock Teachers Union, and warrants paid. Are there any questions on any of that?
Well, oh, no, not on those.
Okay. All right, reports, board member report
Pertaining to the county?
to the county, yes, not the district.
There is that conference coming up down in Ukiah. They actually asked superintendent to present at that conference on disaster, how to handle disasters and so forth. But he decides he didn't want to be there, so he's going to leave. But he did give it to somebody else to do.
Yeah, but I told them I would present for them that weekend. Then my wife's like, you have to be in Dallas for your niece's wedding. I'm like,
well,
oh
that's
yeah,
kind
there's
of
that.
important, yes.
So that is going on. There are also legislative advocate meetings going on with ACCBE. They're really moving forward with a lot of things, especially in conjunction with the superintendents, these county superintendents. It's really going well. CSBA has a conference this weekend in San Diego, the county office. Some people will be there, some of us won't. That's pretty much what I have.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, hearing none, superintendent's report.
Yeah, so quite honestly, over the last few weeks, most of the office has been out sick at one point or another. But I think the next big thing that's coming up for especially single district counties is the trailer bill language that's coming out with governor's budget has some requirements that are potentially detrimental to how the county functions. And we'll have some other requirements for the district, but we'll talk about that at the district board meeting. So we're going to be meeting with the author of the trailer bill language, and we're also going to be working with FICMAT on reworking the language around the procedure manual on how county offices work to really represent what a county office that serves a single district county does. So that's going to happen hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I think we've got a virtual meeting next Friday and an in-person meeting the week after. And what we're really trying to do is rewrite the language, rewrite trailer bill, get it to the point where we can get meaningful changes made that set us up for, set all the single district counties up for future success, and honestly, and I'll just say this, keeps people in Sacramento from making decisions for us who don't even know where we are, so.
I have a question about that. Is it then, are you trying to get the trailer bill to have two distinct, to make a differentiation between single district counties and the rest of them?
No, it already does.
Oh, it already does?
So
Okay.
it is, like, one part of the trailer bill, requires that the district, give the State Department of Education direct access to our financial systems.
Hmm.
So as long as that's read-only, I don't care,
Mhm.
because that's public information anyway, right? I mean, we print reports, we run SACS reports, we do all that regardless. Some of the other pieces, though, don't really reflect what should be happening. Because one of the things we're trying to get the legislature to really understand is we are a county office that serves a single district county,
Mhm.
right? There are also two other LEAs in our county. There is Castle Rock and Uncharted Shores. We are not this commingled, co-funded entity that the legislature seems to think that we are. And so we are trying to get them to really understand what it is we do. And right now what they're doing is they are taking a very reactive approach because Plymouth's Unified School District is in state receivership.
Mhm.
They haven't done this with any other county or any other district that's gone into receivership. They're only doing it to single district counties because of Plymouth's. First time that any single district county has gone into receivership, and it's a giant knee-jerk reaction. So we're trying to get them to back off and to actually take a thoughtful, intentional approach and not what they typically do.
Well,
So,
we still get short-handed.
well, we're working on that. That's part of what we're looking at is, okay, what are those assurances that the legislature is looking for? If they want an independent third party that's not beholden to the district school board, great. Let's get somebody in there to do that work and to not work under the assistant superintendent for business service, but somebody that works directly under the elected county superintendent as the auditor of the district and responsible to me in my position to do that. That's great, but fund it. Because right now, we're penalized for being a single district county and a county office that functions within a single district county. So fund us to do the work that you want us to do, and then let us do the work that I'm elected to do, right? So that's where we're going with the state. So we'll see how that works.
Okay, since you brought up the word elected, did anybody file besides you?
No, I am unopposed in this cycle.
Okay.
You're assuming.
So anyway, so that's what I have going on in the next couple of weeks, and so I'm hoping by the next county meeting, we'll have some good news to bring back. Greg is gonna go with me when we meet with ThickMat, when we meet with CDE and some of the other folks. We're gonna meet with the other, hopefully we're gonna meet with all 6 single district county offices of ed, including San Francisco. So we're gonna be in that mix, but we'll see.
Okay, consent agenda, county board meeting minutes of February 26, 2026, staff travel requests. Any questions on those? Hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment.
There's no public comment at this time.
Okay, bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, could you poll please?
Mr. Margarino,
Yes.
Mrs. Christ,
Yes.
Mr. Greer,
Yes.
Mr. MacArthur,
Yes.
and Mrs. Maisie.
Yes. Okay, next item is second interim report. Mr. Bowen.
All right, good afternoon. I don't have a fancy presentation. This time for the county, I do have one on the district, so
Yeah,
I
I
want
saw
no
that.
favoritism. No favoritism.
Is that, we got a new high school or something? Or is that-
No, it's just graphics I just threw in there.
Looks like,
Yeah, but my time's been limited this week. But regardless, the county secondary report is pretty easy because there really wasn't significant changes from first interim. But I'll just highlight a couple things. Nikki, if you want to pull up the resources document and just the front page, just a reminder what second interims are. What happens is it brings in your actuals from July 1st to the end of January, and then you adjust your budget from February 1st until the end of the year, right? So pretty much your actuals are starting to, your budget and your actuals become more aligned is what the overall goal is. Also, the second interims put a new focus on your MYP, right? Because, in January, the state comes out with their workshop, governor's budget workshop, and you get a new sense of indicators to plan towards the future. So we factor that into our planning. And then also this time of year too, your enrollment, it starts to stabilize. You kind of have an idea of what your enrollment is. Enrollment drives the majority of our funding, right? So we start to, narrow that pattern down pretty easily this time of year as well. So I have adopted versus second interims. I thought it'd be interesting to compare adopted budget versus second interims this time around, since our next phase is the adopted budget for 26-27. Not any really major changes on enrollment side. LCFF right there, you can see in the top right corner, down 1.9%. The district right now, I've calculated the past 3 years, we're having about a 2% runoff on the enrollment of the district side. I wouldn't say we're becoming more flat. We're not seeing the large swings anymore, which is good to see. Still declining enrollment district, still having impacts on LCFF, but it's nice to see not large swings. 2% is manageable, right? So I'm trying to create some new tools to really kind of dial that down a little bit easier for myself and everybody included. Federal revenues had an increase because we got a new grant for the school-based mental health program. It was a new federal grant where we're bringing on new sites. I think we talked about that a little bit. So that increased as well. Community schools got another coordination round with $300,000, so it increased the state budget a little bit. And then local revenues came down a little bit as we adjusted allocations, funding for next year. So some of the local grants we work with the county adjusted funding and pushed some of that revenue out until 26-27. So a small decrease there. Overall expenditures relatively flat. One thing with the county, and we talked about, grants come and go on the county side, right? So as we bring on new grants, that brings on new programs and services, right? New overhead, new staff, new sites, for example. So we do see a little increase in overhead on the county side based on some of that new funding that I just identified. Overall, if you scroll down on line E there.
So before you go on though, I'm looking at the percent difference column, and it actually looks like our expenditures went down.
This gets confusing because this is the way SACS reports it. So if you look at, let's take certificated salaries, right? So you had adopted 1.7, and then in the second interim you had 2.1.
Oh, it's
That's a
bad.
22% increase, even though it shows decrease. I've never been a fan of that, but I wanted to replicate what the SACS reports are just to be consistent.
Okay.
So realistically, that is a 22% increase over adopted budget.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
So,
I apologize
it's
for that,
just
but
backwards.
that's just
all right.
that's a
And
state
so
thing.
does it work the same way for the revenue where it looks like it's a 5.3%?
It's the actually opposite. So
It's
if
a
you,
5.3% decline.
it's a 5.3% increase. So if you look at total revenues, $9.7 million in adopted and 10.2 second interims, So it's a 5% increase in overall revenue.
Okay, so the top group makes sense, and
Yeah.
the bottom group is backwards.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And I apologize for
That's
that.
all right.
That's what this is where like kind of like the SACS reports become, in my opinion, sometimes overcomplicated and they can simplify things. I just make sure that these numbers match the SACS reports for transparency. Yeah. So overall, the county budget is pretty well balanced. You see a small deficit there, shortfall of 42,578, and most of the assignments are the same as adopted. So no major swings there at all. I'm going to go to the next slide, next page. Near and dear to my heart, as you guys know, keep scrolling down, Nikki, is the unrestricted side of the general fund. This is this is what kind of keeps me up at night. This is something I'm always monitoring, both the district and county side. The county, as we alluded to, singles are really underfunded. It is an issue, and this is what we're advocating for here at the end of March. The good news, knock on wood, that there is a proposal, and we'll know more mid-May, that we might be getting some extra DA money on the county side, a little bit over $500,000. So we're hoping through May revise that gets reassured. That would be fantastic, right? Because that will support the county general operating funds to support additional services countywide. So 123,000, not a significant amount, but it's just something to be mindful of, and we want to make sure that we're operating within what we're allocated.
Well, and I think part of that, when you're looking at the general fund, one of the things to remember is most county most county community schools and court schools, the students that attend those schools are funded at a much higher level, and they're fully funded, right? So if a district sends a student to a community school, the district assumes the full cost of that student, not the ADA cost. And the cost for the funding for a student who's either been placed on probation or has been expelled, the state funds approximately $20,000 per student. And at that point, they're also subject to ADA. District referred students, which is the vast majority of our students at community school, the county doesn't get those extra dollars, even though the county has to maintain funding or staffing for students that are expelled or adjudicated. And so, one of the things again that we're talking about, and this is another possibility as we look at this, as we look at 40 some odd students that are in community school, only 3 of them or 4 of them I think are required to be there under California law. And so a cost saving measure would be, we could eliminate that deficit by eliminating a teaching position at community school, because those students are there on district referral. So the other way of doing that would be to either charge back the district for the cost of that position, or just eliminate the position and tell the district we only have 20 slots, not 40. So there are some different ways to approach this, but I think what this was reflective of on the general fund side is just another subsidy that the county is providing for the district. So.
All right, next page, Nikki. Keep that's just restricted. That's we're doing okay there. Keep going down to the that's combined right here. Now keeps going down to the numbers there. There you go. So as I kind of alluded to, like counties often difficult to predict because of the moving swings of grants. Like last weekend she notified me of like possible $2.5 million grant coming in. Save the Children, or
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're working out those details, right? But when we look at our MYP, as grants mature, so do those programs and services, right? So we keep track of those dates, and plan accordingly in those out years and try to keep our expenditures in line with what our anticipated revenues are. So we, just something to be mindful of. That's, we know that in our strategic planning in future years, and we keep a close eye on that. So. Okay, scroll down.
Well, and I do want to say too, and here again, I don't mean to be the doom and gloom guy, but what I will tell you is if you go to the state and you talk to the state about county offices don't go negative. Because county offices can always just stop service, right? Or they can charge for service. So I think one of the things we're going to be looking at is a lot of what you're seeing here as negative are some of those services that are charged or that the county office has that are in grants. And so if there's not another funding stream, or if we can't find another funding stream, then some of those services will have to go away.
Is that why we see such a big deficit in 2017?
Yeah, so there'll be grants that'll come due like in 6/30/27, so we'll be sure that those programs and services don't go to the following year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the issues that we hear a lot from the public, is that things go on and then when they get cut really fast. And all of a sudden people are losing things that they have come to expect. And this is on both the county and the district side. So just saying, don't worry about it, we're keeping an eye on it, this is just something to be mindful of. We need to be talking about what are those programs and bringing that forward to the public so that it's not a shock when we have to cut services. And that we can do so with the caveat that, if we find other funding, we'll continue them, but at this time, this program ends as of this date, and not just as when we get to that date, say, oh, we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
So.
And I think we've gotten a lot better. We've been meeting a lot with admin, for a lot of the folks that are responsible for these programs. They know their timelines. They know the risk.
They do, the public does not.
And
that's the point.
yeah.
Well, but I think what Greg's talking about here too, though, is we look at like the RCACP grant that's coming to an end. That's coming to an end, which means those folks would normally be taking a different position. But we wrote another grant that's going to have a slightly different focus, but most of those people can continue to work for that grant under a different funding stream.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where you'll see some of these shifts. So I'm not actually anticipating $500,000 in deficit in 26-27, because that's just how county offices function. And I think one of the things, Charlene, that our community feels that other places don't, and Mike can tell you this because he's been in Butte County, I've been in Tama, Tulare, and Shasta. County office programs come and go all the time, but county offices don't provide such explicit public services to districts like we do. And so this is and I would agree, communication is critical, but services coming and going are a matter of course in 58 county offices of education. We can't be held to a different standard, or we go bankrupt, or we just quit providing all services that are part of our general fund.
Well, I don't.
I know you don't mean
that's not what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
And if there weren't a camera here, I would probably not say that's not what I mean, because I know you know that's not what I mean. But what I'm saying is the communication, because we are a small single district county, because there is so little understanding of the separation right now between county and district, that it's a communication piece for the community to understand. That, and all it takes is having that, this is coming to an end, but we've written another grant. But if we don't get that grant, then this program, it's a matter of, it's an overused word, but it's about transparency.
Right.
It's about preparing the community for potential change.
Right.
That maybe goes unnoticed in the other 57 counties. But here, it's pretty clear cut. So
Yeah, and I know
that's
we've
all.
done a better job, I don't think we're perfect, but I know we've done a better job advertising these positions, that they're grant funded by the certain amount of year that it's coming due, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, more communication, the better.
Yeah.
We had talked about having presentations of various grant-funded programs on the county side at the county meetings, which would probably be a good idea. But the other thing I'm wondering is if this would be a good subject for one of the budget
What a
meetings.
good segue, Abby, since you brought that up. We have a scheduled budget forum on next Thursday. I think it's the 19th, if I remember right.
Yes.
The topic of that will be position control and a lot about restricted positions, what this looks like. I'll be able to share some data on, how many positions are tied to different funding sources, when we anticipate those funding sources to come due. Kind of a lot of things that you've alluded to in the past. So.
I think that would be good, and I think it would be helpful to name them by name, not their initials, not something that nobody understands what it is, but to say this is the wellness grant, or this is,
Yeah.
this is what funds all the,
Yeah.
all the counselors and blah, 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 so people have an idea of what we're really talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, and I'm gonna give Nikki a shout out, who's sitting back in the back trying to hide behind people and everything else. And this is more on the district side, but I think it also incorporates, it's also on the, I think there's also a link on the county office side. We actually have links directly to grant spreadsheets that show the name of the grant, the expiration of the grant, everything that's within the grant. So if folks want to kind of look at that, and we can go through in more depth, but we made a conscious decision to put those on the district and the county office side so people can see what that looks like.
And that's wonderful, but, I asked you to make me copies of these things. I
Yes.
know I could have gone on the
Right.
website and tried to work my way through there. It's not as maybe user-friendly as for people who use it every single day. So, it's just something that we have to keep in mind,
Right.
as Charlene keeps saying, who our audience is.
Right.
People need to understand that, because people who have the inside knowledge, it's easier for them, they do understand it. But we don't wanna see 6 families stand up and say, why aren't you doing this program any longer? Right?
I think part of the problem too is that we don't, as we are transparent, we don't want to panic people.
Exactly. That's
So
true.
we have to figure out a way of communicating both that the grant should go away along with the grants and the things that are going to continue funded and that we do intend to fund them. Because if all people, I think people tend, they take a job and they don't pay attention to where the money's coming from. And they don't pay, even though we tell them, they don't necessarily pay attention to the, this is grant funded and it could expire. So we have to reinforce that so we don't get a lot of panicked folks.
I agree, and I think you've done a really good job of not having to just get rid of people. I mean, in the time I've been on here, it seems like people move, or you're able to move and fit them
That's
in
the
the
goal.
fold in it, which is really good. So I think people understand that, but again, money's tightening up, things are becoming a little bit different. It may be more difficult to do that moving forward, and I think it never hurts to preview potential bad news. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not fun, but previewing it is better than it coming.
But preview it in the context
Of
of
what
this is
we're
our
trying to
intention,
do,
this is our-
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, okay, good discussion. So I'm gonna go down
So
to,
actually, before you do,
Yes.
can we go back up to the table?
yes,
And this one, confused about.
the pie chart or the?
No, the table.
The table.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so our 2025-26 adopted budget, we ended up with net activity of a positive 243,492.
Yes,
Our second interim, we're projecting net activity of a loss of 42,578.
yes,
It seemed like that's a bigger number than just, everything pretty much stayed the same. So how did we swing that much? Is that the expenditures? increasing?
Yes, we did add a couple positions post-adopted budget, and then we added positions with the new grants as well. So that contributed to the increase in expenditures.
But we're not recognizing the revenue from the new grant yet?
We are, no, it's recognized. But some of it was new grant-funded positions, and then some of them were just county operating positions that we added post-adopted budget. So like the IT supervisor is one that comes to my mind, is what we added out. So that contributed to the swing a little bit,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Okay, we're short on time. I always think this is gonna go by quick, and time creeps up quickly.
You're not short on time, you're overtime, actually.
I said I'm short
You're
on
into
time.
negative time.
Let's go to Castle Rock real quick. I'll I'm just gonna cover a couple things here. Jen and I are working pretty closely. They did have an improvement since first interims. They have a projected deficit of 626. You know, Jen and I are working on a number of different things. You know, I know she has some vacancies that we're looking at. We have a couple retirees there that we're going to condense. You know, I mentioned before that the biggest pressure on Castle Rock is Castle Rock spending their fair share on special education, right? It is an ed code requirement. As our special education costs increase, it does impact charter schools as well. So, you know, that's putting pressure on their bottom line. So we're doing what we can to look at their vacancies, to maybe trim some costs in books and services. We're also looking at the MOU to get that MOU is completely out of date. It needs to be, we'll try to get something in place by July, so you'll hear more soon coming on that. So, you know, a number of things that we need to address, you know, but we do have a projected deficit for Castle Rock at this time. You know, and considering that they're a smaller school, their revenues really only come through LCFF, maybe some state revenue, but other than that, they don't have a federal revenue funding source, and not much local there you can see as well. So it's something that we're mindful of, and then we'll work together on the budget for 26, 27 to try to close that gap up a little bit. And then other than that, if you guys have any remaining questions, I'm happy to answer them.
You explained everything pretty well.
I try, even though I'm hoarse.
Yeah, you sound terrible.
Yes. I said earlier, I feel better than I sound.
That's a good thing.
Okay, any other, I don't hear any other questions, so I will open it up for public comment.
There's no public comment at this time?
Okay, bring it back to the board for a motion, please.
Should we vote on them two separately?
You know, I never really understood that. Maybe you can educate me on this, on Harris. This, for me, like, when I submit the report to the state, it's one report. You know, Castle Rock has its own fund, county has its own fund, but it's only one SACS report at the end of the day. So I don't know what we
Approve or accept it?
Pardon me?
Are we approving?
No,
it?
you're approving.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm muted. So you're approving, and because the county board approves the county budget, and because the county board is also the authorizer for direct funded charter, an indirect funded charter, which is Castle Rock, you would be approving theirs as well. And so we just submit a combined interim to the state. So you would just take one action to approve the whole thing.
So you're
Is that a
looking for
motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the combined SACS report for the county and Castle Rock.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, could you pull, please?
Sorry, who made the second? Sorry.
Oh, Abby.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Greer, Mrs. Chris,
Yes.
and Mrs. Maisy.
Yes. All right, that is all that we have, so there being no further business, we will adjourn the county board meeting.